Did it work this time? Been trying a little bit earlier to see if this will work. So let me check. Hey, we're live. Perfect. Whew. We did it. Semi almost on time. There we go. Perfect. Hello. Welcome to the evening chat, the evening mountain get together. And welcome to Orion Spearpoint. CC, hello again. Hello, SK. It's good to see you. Yes. From Perth. Oh boy. I love it. In Romania. Oh, it's morning. Maggie. Oh man. Driving. Gonna have a listen. Love to everyone here. Wow. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody, I think some people are just waking up. So the sun's just rising. And I give you a lot of love. From Vancouver. Oh man. From Los Angeles. Yes. Hello, everyone. This is amazing. So I give everyone here that's showing up a lot of love, and then everywhere that you're from, the land that you have, a lot of love too. CC, is that New Hampshire? And then Perth. Infinite blessings. So good to have you on. I love every time you comment on any of the videos. I love that. So sending you a lot of love, and Perth too. I've been to Melbourne, and that was a big part of my journey as well. That was when was that? That must have been 2015, but I never made it out to Perth. But when I used to work in a grocery store as a cashier / closing manager, in a ski town, one of my favorite things was to try to guess the accent from Perth to the East Coast in Melbourne. So I had to get really good at pitches and a lot of mistakes, and then calling people from New Zealand from Australia and vice versa. So it was one of the aspects of the job that I really, really loved. Victoria, hello from Texas. Hello, Texas, and hello, Victoria. Sending you a lot of love, especially the land in Texas. Texas to me has been such a key in the grid as of late. It's like such a focus point. So I give you a lot of love, and I give Texas a lot of love and a lot of admiration. British Columbia. Oh, I love it. Oh, Awaken and Ascend, my honor. It was something that kind of like I was trying to find a time that could accommodate everybody. So if I like, this is such a joy and a treat. So I feel really happy to be able to do that. So this is my honor and my joy to do so. So Boston, love it. East Coast, it's getting late for you guys. So thank you and welcome. Spearfish SD. Oh wow! I almost got tripped up. I thought you were mistyping my the channel's name, but South Dakota, right? That's amazing place. So welcome everybody, and we'll get this kind of started. Central Tennessee. Ooh yeah. Oh, Empress Queen of Fire. Good to see you again from the first one. So yes. It is the sun just set, so I was spending some time with the sunset and seeing it kind of like crest over the mountain range across. So it is it's been an amazing day, and a lot has happened. So welcome everybody. We'll jump in, and it's going to be kind of playing in that sandbox of pure energy. So it's a joy just opening it up and seeing all the love kind of enter. So I really love that. In bed already in Brooklyn. Yeah, it's what, 10 o'clock? Yeah, I can see that. But I give you a lot of love as well. And that New York is so special. Pam, South Dakota is very, very special. E. Sophia, good to see you again. Good to feel you in this place again. Yeah, I love to Salt Lake City again. Those mountains, every time you comment, I see them. So it's a joy to see those again. Oh, yes. My honor, Empress Queen of Fire. So, Elena, I have a question after watching the other live, actually. Yeah, go for it. Jump right in. Crowny and Infinite Blessings, both from Perth, representing. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, what's your question, Elena? So go for it. This is the place for it. Congratulations, Maggie. CC, back in the beginning, before I knew what was happening to me, I had a psychic tell me we were being chased. How do these dark entities attack the divine love? Any suggestions on how we can protect it? Ooh, going right into it. Okay. Way to go, CC. Like, that's potent. Okay. So, yes, are they present? Yeah, and they're always going to be present. I mean, that's the deal with dealing with the dark, right? That's just they're there. I mean, the thing is that here's how I've seen the energy. The moment you try to attack or like defend or engage in a combative kind of role, if it's not coming from a guided place, then it's already on a back foot. You're already kind of on your back foot. So they do how I've seen it basically is they enter the stream basically through the weak points within your own energetic stream. And then they get into the love. And but the love is certainly targeted because it's certainly such a charge. And how I've seen basically in the shared space, there's actually some booby traps as well that kind of get laid in there so that when the merge kind of takes off, then those kind of booby traps get like blown up. So there's a lot into this about why it's targeted, and we don't really care. I mean, at least I don't really care about the intentions of any of that or why or X, Y, and Z. It's a fact, right? How do you protect it? Well, the best way to protect it is just to stay on that divine stream, stay on that divine path, because once you stay on that, then they really can't access it, and then you're really just within love and holding it really, really strongly. So it's being able to hold all of it and face it head on, but not really engage, if that makes any sense. So you have to do it with your own stream, and then the love is always going to be it's always going to be pure because like that pure energy is always going to be protected. It's when it kind of breaks into the physical that they really try to get their hands on it, and then it prevents a lot of things. But really, it's such guided from divine. It's all about your own embodiment so that you can hold it and then going from there. That's how I've seen it. And then tr- um, relying on that path and will actually protect it. And like then the love can run within your system because your system's not being infected. It's a big, big question, but uh, I love that. Thank you, Cece. Joni, oh man. Oh, Maggie, your son graduated from UF today. Congratulations to him. Joni, receiving and sending you a lot of love. Thank you for being here. All right, awaken and ascend. I had such an intense 5-5 initiation. I had a deep heart opening and was on my bedroom floor crying. Any insight into how the masculine collective 5-5 was? Whew. Actually, yeah, I can tell you how it was. So let me double check on that. Okay. So one of the things that was in my stream was that the masculine collective is kind of like the flip flop. So it's kind of like it's such an opening and so much energy is kind of clicking on that it kind of feels really, really amazing, actually. So and the density was kind of held by the feminine, and like the masculine was kind of riding high because it was clicking into place. That's how I saw it a couple of times, like soaring. and the energies. But I also know this energy well. So when I first tasted it and I was feeling it, and of course, you have the live that was before. So that was a ton of energy. So I had to ground that. But this is kind of like there was a different stream from the 5-5 portal that I've kind of felt was hitting my masculine energy and was clicking it into place. And when I tasted it, I'm just like, "Oh, I know that," because like, to ride that high, like, it has to ground, so, like, the flip-flop has to come down too. So I feel like this is such a heart-opening day, but such a pivotal point as well. Like, the energy is really, really amazing right now. Joletta, I am a just say the DM energy today is super raw and teary. Is that collective? Super raw? Well, yeah, because it's kinda getting blown wide open. I would definitely say that's collective, yeah. Elena, in the other live, someone said how they have seen their DM as light. When my DM visited me in spirit, he's always looked like a black shadowy figure, not like evil, but divine. Why the difference? Hmm. Maybe because he's holding the dark, honestly. Um And quite honestly, you have both within you at all times. And there is a difference between the synthetic dark and the true dark as well. And the masculine energy certainly holds such a charge within the dark energy, like the density or the darkness as well, because of a lot of things have held. But I mean, black is like such an amazing color. Like I love the color black. So I feel like what's the difference? I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like it's mischievous or trickery or malicious, but I do feel like there's something within that that is yet to be seen, which is probably why it's dark. Yeah, that's what's coming to me. Crowny, what was your experience with the Kundalini purification? Well, so my experience with the um how should I say that? From a masculine perspective, that was dropping down and going down, 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 and falling into the density of it. And then the purification was the um how it felt to me is that when that clicked into place, it was like my own pillar of light. Well, no, not even that. My own pillar was a channel of energy that everything within me, like once I hit a certain level, so you had to go down through this muck, this level of density, and then once you got through it, like because you had your own trail through it, it kind of like erupted, kind of like a volcano, but it was shooting off through me, and I was the conduit piece. It was quite incredible. Um, but the purification is it's a whole thing. Um, I don't feel like I answered that fully for you, Crowny, but if you can give me I guess I get tripped up with the Kundalini purification because was going to Kundalini yoga and I was doing that, but it was like this has been such a soul oriented process for me that the purification process is what I would say. There's a lot of different modalities that came in to meet me along the way with this. Um, Joni, does the feminine have any part in assisting the masculine working through a karmic cycle, energetically speaking? Ooh, I like that. Yes and no. If it's guided from divine, then absolutely. Um, I would honestly say that it requires your absence, and that's important because the old dynamic within the system, this thing kind of clicks back into place, and it's been in process for a long, long time. Was that the masculine's emotions and karmic kind of stuff would be given to the feminine to process for him, and I don't feel like that's correct anymore. So it's kind of like, and honestly, all that pressure of the backlog is the fruit for the masculine system to kind of click into place to break through. So I honestly think it's your absence, like not to assist with that and just um, love him in his fall basically, and know that he has the strength to do it, basically. That's what I would say with that. Erica, Sydney, on your lunch break, I give you a lot of love, Erica. Thank you for showing up from Sydney. I love Sydney and I love that land. And thank you for coming. Kira, hi, thank you for doing this. How did you find out you are a twin flame, and how long did it take you to accept? I'll read all three of yours and then I'll go through bit by bit, Kira. So, also, do you have any idea how I recognize if it's my own emotions or feelings or if it's my, yeah, okay, I'll go into that. And one more, please. If you want to, are the activations of Kundalini happening at the same time or just sometimes? Okay, first one. How did you know you were on a twin flame and how long did it take you to accept it? So when it happened for me, it was like a love that was so profound and a union that was so gifted from divine that I didn't search for it, and it came in, and then it was more energy than I ever saw before, and there were so many things clicking into place that it was absolutely mind blowing, like reality fracturing as a or reality birthing is probably a better way to say it. So when it came that separation happened, one, I knew what was asked of me, and then two, I was very, very confused because so I had felt this before, and then I was just like, okay, like if it's true, then just show me what the deal is with this. So I kept like going into meditative sessions and really, really asking about this and really pushing on the door. And I had to follow basically. And so one of the first things laid at my feet is I had to let go. So then I got to a place that I did. And then I was just feeling with it. And my whole life was falling, basically. It was the fall. So there was multiple things that happened within this outside of that, but that the separation added to it. And this fall just accelerated. And then I was continuing and then going to the ask the truth. And I was in such a place that I just refused to accept that. Well, I didn't refuse to accept. I just was looking at it and be like, okay, well, I don't believe something this pure like came in just to result in this. So tell me what is continuing. And then it kept showing up. So I finally got to a place where I could let go. And then I found Danielle's videos as well. But I finally got to a place to do that. So, and I was tempered enough. And then what ended up happening was that because I was in my own fall, there was so much energy coming up. And then they told, like, I was giving guidance to go to certain places. And these were very, very pure places and a lot of energy that came in with it. And along the way, and in the energetic, she kept popping up. So I was very confused and I would present it to these places because I was like filled with confusion and doubt and wondering along the way. And all these places used to celebrate it, even in this time. So I was just kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to hold anything that's not aligned. You just show me the way. And then it kept occurring. And then there was little moments, it happened continuously where I would get to a place where I'd be so tempered and letting go and non-attachment that then it would show up that where my energy was actually pushing away. And I had to kind of reset and actually allow it to kind of like, okay, like if it comes in, then I accept it. So it kept coming and kept coming until I really reached a point where I was in this place and I was so hesitant to do it. And then it was like, so it was the only step forward. It was just like I had to commit to the love. And when that happened, I was just like, oh, there it is. And then all the journey and where this has taken me, and you just listen and follow. So how long? I guess I can give you a linear time frame. How long did it take you to accept? I mean, I've always accepted the love because it was so pure, but like then absolutely like accepting connection, especially in all these kind of things, has been a continuous process. But to get to the part where I was like committed to the love, because that was definitely a turning point. I would say it probably took 2 years, I guess, to reach that initiation stage. So then your next question was, do you have any idea how to recognize my own emotions or feelings from your energetic field or my counterpart? Well, this is important, right? Especially when it comes into like the unprocessed emotions, especially for the feminine. So, suggestions, get really, really comfortable within your own field. And then when you can feel like, one of my best suggestions to do that would be like trees or water or streams, like get in the water. For you, Kira, specifically, like your energetic field, I would say get in the water, allow yourself to kind of recognize your own field. And then when something comes in, like check in, because it could be guided from divine, and that's okay. Like then you notate it, you see what's moving. But if it's dense energies or frozen stuff that's like coming up, then I would simply ask if it's your job to process. And if it's like, if your heart and soul and your body is just like, no, this isn't mine, this is his, then just give it back to him. And then you can actually ask for the stream of love and the connection between the two of you to be reoriented, so that not all his stuff flows into you. It can actually, like, it's the image I got was like a river where you pick up a sailboat basically and you look at it. And if it's not yours, you just put it back in the stream and it goes to him. But yeah, to sit in that and then recognize and reference it. Um, I hope that helps. And one more. Okay. If you want to, are the activations of Kundalini happening at the same time or just sometimes? I would say sometimes. Sometimes it happens at the same time, but especially if it's still in the separation phase, I mean, there's kind of like there's this volley back and forth, and it's actually the syncing up that's currently happening. What do you do when third party karmics interfere with the reunion energies? You look at how they entered. Yeah, because their entry point is a clue. That's the gift of the dark. So we don't really care about the intentions, but the third party karmic energies, like you look at how the entry point and then what energy is needed, or what energy is being kind of like wrapped up in it as it continues. And then the gift of the dark is showing you the entry point and then where it reflects into your energy, specifically your own stream, and then the shared space. And then when you touch in with that, then you can see it and see what walls need to be shored up or what thing needs to go through. Um, and then when you're asking for it to clear up, all you can do is within your own stream. So as much as like you can't like fully clear out the shared space because it requires both. So you can only do what's in front of you. So you just kind of clear out as much as it is yours that you are within able to do. And then the rest of it is for the other person to do. CC, my DM contacted me after almost 3 years with no contact. A week later, I was sick with painful body aches. Yep. March and April were gloomy months. Can contact with the DM trigger a mini dark night? Absolutely. Because it's going to be, because when that, as the energy kind of builds, it's kind of like there's stuff that you can work on, but then there's always stuff within that shared space that like is waiting for like the stuff to work on when it comes in together. So the fact that it reached that point, there's going to be a huge stuff to be brought up to the surface to work through. And if you ever done like a purge or cleanse within the body, like juicing or something like that, there is a point where you just feel sick because your body actually has time to clear out and it's coming up to the surface, and it's actually can be like pretty horrid. And I feel like that's a lot of this. It's like you're clicking back into place, but it can bring a lot of stuff within that as well. Just make sure it's like actually in the shared space and it's not his stuff. I think that's so important. I really, really do, because it's such an old energy where the feminine would process for the masculine. So, but the activation is huge. I really do feel that. Empress Queen of Fire. Is it possible to have 5D energetic physics from two different masculines? Yeah. His spirit is sometimes different, gentle like a lamb, then fierce like a lion. I know many masculine. I know my masculine is my TF Emperor. Well, why can't it be both? That would be my first question to you. It was just like it can be all of those as well. It doesn't have to be two different energetic, two separate individual streams. And it can be at the same time, because I think the lamb and the lion, I mean, the lion and the lamb is so part of it. But I also don't feel like they have to be separate, because so I can have a really big warrior essence and also like a soft, sweet, caring, and those two can be in perfect harmony as well. But if they're out of balance, then they can almost appear split. Um, oh, my honor, Empress Queen of Fire. It's truly it's a delight to be here with everybody here, because it is such a playground full of energy. So it really is an honor, and thank you. Is it utter sweetness? Yeah, yeah. This is amazing energy to have this all be a part of it. So, Joni, how does the masculine integrate more vulnerable communication? Is it a process, or does it come on a online quick? And is it coming online with current and close future energies? How does the masculine integrate more vulnerable communication? Hmm. Oh, okay. I get it. How does the masculine integrate more vulnerable communication? So you're talking about like the closed off energy with the masculine essence that's very prevalent. Well, here's how I always like it's kind of there's let me save where the chat is so I don't lose it, because this is going to be kind of a long answer. Here's how I've seen the energy for the masculine essence. So you have the true representation and you have the physical representation. And that valley to walk between the two is so vast. So a lot of times like the energy has to be like this, but like that the two are so different that it's kind of like it's separate. And so you have the true representation, which is kind of like your true essence as the masculine energy, which just is very it's it's very easy to kind of I don't know how I've seen it is that there's no like as far as the communication, it just is like your own being is the communication. That's the level of energy that we're dealing with. But when it gets to here, there's sometimes where you need like there's shells of hardness and there's different aspects that have been in it for eons, right? So the blending between the two, I mean, it's going to hit some of those, let's say, hard exterior kind of walls and the toughness, whether the rather than the vulnerable communication or the vulnerable, we'll say the softness, basically. And it's going to hit those to kind of like be looked at. And like, how does masculine energy stay masculine and is soft? Because I think a lot of people look at it, which is true. There is one way you can look at it, and it is 100% true, is that looking at a masculine energy that becomes soft and then it's like a feminine expression. But then how does a masculine energy stay masculine and then is soft? And that's like the whole way it kind of goes. So love is going to push on these things to kind of like be embodied within the masculine energy, and it's going to break up those things. As far as the communication between masculine and feminine, like that's going to be a reflection of the internal dynamic. So then when you're looking at an external dynamic, it's all a reflection of your internal dynamic, because how I've seen it is that like and this is one thing, because love has no rules. So like this is just one piece of it. There's more to it that I don't know, but my internal feminine will match and merge with the external feminine. My external masculine presence will match and merge with the internal masculine presence of that feminine. So, and there's more to this because it's not just heterosexual, but it's like seeing that energy is kind of like, wow, that's really potent, but it's also going to be reflective of the internal. So, the internal feminine and the internal masculine, how does those dynamics go back and forth? Because if the masculine is always closed, then it's like, okay, well, that's not like the true as expression of the masculine. I've always seen it as kind of like a really kind of like almost a sun, basically. It just shines and it's just like, whoa. But as far as the closed energy, I mean, love will open all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot within the masculine energy to be rewired because there's a lot that it has held for so long. Um, Kira, thank you so much for answering. Wow, that's so cool how you read my energy. I often dream I'm in the water. Oh, perfect. Yes. Yeah. Water and you, I think, are really good. I always see a river whenever I read your name. So, um, SK, I may have missed this. Did you say how you discovered the concept of twins? How was it first presented to you? So I'll say this, it's just kind of like, so the word that feels the best for my heart and all of this is like the love between two. That's the phrasing that I use. So the love between two is what I've come in my meditations. Now, as far as I would say the community of like divine counterparts and twins and stuff like that. I first came about it probably when I was 16, and I read about it, and then I wrote a poem about it, and then I kind of put it on the shelf. And the more I went through it, the more I was kind of like I read, and um, I was seeing a lot of things that was just like, oh, like that's the whole dynamic is not really true because I was going through meditation circles and this and that. So then it kind of resurfaced when it came in the physical. And then I had to sit with it basically and be like, okay, what is this? And then I came across Danielle's work, Harmonious Hearts. And then it's so much more opened up with that. So it's been a long journey through all of this. Um, yeah. Does the DM need to know and accept the DF is his flame for the reunification to happen in the 3D? I'll answer that in twofold. So it depends what aspect you're talking about. I think you're going to be more focusing on the physical representation. Does he need to know? Actually, this is the fun part. I actually don't think that every um, masculine energy does. That's the really fun part. Here's the beautiful thing. This is how it's come to me in meditation. Is that when the feminine drops in to the land, basically, that holds her. So there's going to be land that holds her, and like it's going to be that aspect that like she just unfurls and starts to really really brighten, and the essence just kind of kicks off. It's amazing. Every time I've seen this in the energetics and meditation, it's just like that's really incredible. Now, as far as the dynamic between the two, every time I've seen this, the feminine energy is really not even focusing or even really, I want to use the word doesn't really care, but the energies doesn't match. But it's just really not focusing on the masculine. Because how I've always seen it is kind of like there's this bright light in the center, and all the feminine's focus is there. Because it's like that's what's really needed. And that bright light is kind of like from source. So when she drops into the land, now the land's holding her, right? Here's the fun thing with the masculine initiation. As it continues and you get broken down and like purified, the energy become is still pursuit, but it's a surrendered pursuit. So your energy gets pointed in a certain direction and then you have to follow. How I've seen it and have experienced it is that it gets pointed to a certain it gets pointed to the land because he has to go through the land first. So really like the where your energy gets pointed isn't really anything to do with her. It's to do with the land that holds her. And then the initiation is walking through that. So that's going to be all the checks and balances, the harmony, because the land's going to look right through you and see right through your energy. So it's going to be a whole kind of like stabilization. There's going to be gifts that are given, but like to walk through that, you have to be able to. And then when you pop up on it through the land, then it's going to be a whole other process. I haven't really seen the other side of that yet. They haven't really shown me, but from what I've seen, like after that, then it's kind of like, okay, we follow love on all of that. But a very long answer to give you, does he need to know? I actually think if this is tempered enough, I'm like, no, there are certain individuals that I don't think they do need to know. They just, that surrendered pursuit, that could be even more of a surrendered pursuit where you just follow the energy where it's pushing you and where it's guiding you to go. Um, yeah. But the love does need to be, especially as the masculine essence and the acknowledgement of the feminine. That's so a part of the initiation that it can't happen without it, I would even say. So, but the commitment to the love, yeah. Awaken and ascend. I've gotten a lot of downloads in regards to twin flames and sexual energy. I've downloaded that we are put into templates, including polygamy, sex addiction, porn addiction, etc., to transmute them. I would agree. So we can break free and clear the planet. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I've seen that as well. At last, truthfully me. I know, right? There's so many good questions. There's a lot of energy. Can you feel it kind of building within this container? It's really kind of fun. Um, Lisa, your masculine container feels so good to me to be in. Sandpit vibes. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Lisa. It's amazing to be in this. So yeah. CC. I met my DM in 2020. I don't know how far along I am in this journey, but I think you are pretty special. Thank you. I would say you're pretty special. Like the CC, your questions are amazing and your energy is very fiery. I love it. So you're amazing. Um, but the journey, like you can't really speed it up. It's kind of like this is all guided from divine. So, I we are where we are and we do what's in front of us always. Sophia, good to see you again. My DM came to me in a dream in a different form as his spirit animals. Oh, yeah, that's happened a few times in his blue animus. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, that has come in more than once. I used to, so dragonflies used to be a real message delivery system as well. S. Thompson, a couple of your messages are redacted, so I don't know. If you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome. I give you a lot of love. So, SK, my honor. Thank you. Awaken and ascend. Any insight into union energies? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, this is coming up. Um, how should I say this? So, the video I did just recently about the divine union wave kind of like making landfall, that came up in the energies, and that's been something I've been seeing repeatedly. And so how I've seen it is like this wave is making landfall, so it's like coming in, but it's such a huge energy that it's like it's required for all this to kind of move, and it's so pure in its like expression, and it's divine. It's from divine, and then it's union energies, right? So then it's hitting masculine energy. So like from my own experience, because that's what I'm going through, from the representation of the physical to what the unities are pushing in, it's kind of like the distance between the two is amazing. Like they don't rematch up. So I'm looking at the physical representation and be like, well, this is going to move because this is divine energy. So it's just moving. And so this has to kind of like catch up because this isn't stopping for anything. This is from divine. This is just moving. So I'm looking at it and I see the distance between the two, and then I can feel the wave kind of coming in, and I'm just like, that's not a whole lot of time linearly. That's not a whole lot of time at all. So I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, this feels like it's going to come in. There's a lot that has to move. So I actually feel like reality is changing very, very quickly. Actually, physically, reality. So, and I feel like that's so important. Now, how this pure energy, time and time again, every time I've done meditation, how the union grounds into the physical is the love between two. Like, and that's one way because I feel like there's a bunch of different aspects for all this energy to ground into place, but that's really important because it takes the love between two to ground it in. And so as this kind of wave comes in from divine, it's kind of like, oh, these are kind of being activated and magnetized as well. So it's big, but it's also, you can see union energies within your own field. It's not just, let me rephrase that. It's not just with the divine counterpart or with a lover or, that kind of like physical, intimate expression. You can look at it as your entire stream. So, how your relationship is with your family, your current reality, how your current framework looks and feels, etc. Because that's going to be, if it's like, if your system is kind of really humming in union with union energies, then you can see your entire field start to change within every aspect of your life. So, and that's needed to be able to hold that much love, especially when we're talking about external union as well. So, sacred vista. Yes. Love to you. I love your picture, by the way. I've seen you on a comment a couple of times. Infinite blessings. Thank you, Connor, for sharing DM's journey. That is so beautiful. The sweet surrender to pursue, to be with the loving embrace and hearing energies of nature. Yeah. Yeah. So much of what you're saying is filling in the gaps of what I was sensed was going on when we went into separation, but wasn't supposed to know at the time. Yeah, that's true. Also validating so many of my own downloads. Love to you. Thank you. Yeah. E. Sophia, I have an idea for all of us to set our intentions to keep choosing harmonious union and unconditional love, the unity conscious within each of us and the collective. Yeah. It's within your own stream, right? So, like, as long as you can keep, like, in every single moment, you just want what's aligned, and then what's not will come up to the surface to be looked at and let go. Um, I had SK. I had what seemed to be an ET appear to me a few weeks ago and show me some images, most of which were mudras. Ah, I've never had contact like that before, and I'm not sure what to make of it. Any insights? Hmm. Hmm. Well, I would sit with them, actually. I would sit with them and body test with your heart and see what you think, what it feels like. It honestly, to me, feels, I mean, there's something within it that's codes, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be what you think. Like, the first thing that's coming to me is just like, it doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. It's kind of like there could be codes in it and it could be way simpler than what you currently think. That's the first thing that comes to me. But as far as the mudras, like, sit with them, see how they feel, and take and see what your body feels with them, to make sure that they are aligned with your heart and soul. So, E Sophia, 40 plus one is a lot of love here. Yeah. And you know what's funny is that, there's so much divine love that just enters this space as well. So as much like, I can't take credit for any of this and I won't, because it's kind of like all of us showed up and this is a co-creation, and then so much energy showed up as well. So there's a lot of activation with all of this. So this is more than I know, and I know that. So, I give love to everybody here, and incredible thanks. Incredible thanks. So, Journey to Unity. Nice name. I love it. Thank you for sharing the journey and answering the questions. This is so helpful. How does the masculine experience the TF merge, both internal and external? Does it feel really overwhelming or blissful? Both. How does it experience? So internal, we'll go there first because you need the internal to go to the external. So how does it feel? So there's your internal feminine that's kind of been um I'll save the chat where it's at because this is going to be kind of a long question. A long answer, sorry. Um the internal feminine, like especially within the masculine and feminine dynamic with internal energies, like the masculine energy, how it felt for me basically. This is a long road. So like you had a semi-abusive relationship with your body, and then you had a semi-abusive relationship with your creation energy, and then with so many things, it was just push push push, go go go, like you can do this, like keep going. And it wasn't so much working with as it was like you're going to do what I ask. So then like embracing your feminine and then also going through that, so then you have this real danger of going too far into that forceful energy. And I think one of the traps, or not one of the traps, one of the things that seems to be very, very common is that then you go really deep into your feminine expression. So the masculine needs like it's like what's its job? That was the thing that always drove me crazy is just like, okay, well, I'm on a feminine planet. Why do you have masculine energy? I don't get it. Like, and it was if I'm really such a problem, like what's the deal? Why do I even exist? And that's something that has to be continuously worked on. But then the dynamics between the two, like how I felt within my own internal feminine system, was that it was so like it was so tied to like it was so soft and sweet, but it also was like it didn't respond to when my masculine energy got spiky. So then it was like learning how my masculine energy could be more tempered. And when it did that, then my own internal feminine started to actually come in and be like, "Oh, that's actually a nice little interplay." And it actually made a lot of my own internal energies like calm down. I'm just like, "Oh, man, I've been searching for that for a long time." So, how did it feel? Did it like was it overwhelming? I would say it just took it was more of like this dance between the 2 internally because it was like one would shut down or like vacate my system, seemingly. And then the other times it was like this really just kind of delicate balance. Now, the further along it got, some of the delicate walking on eggshells started to go away. And I'm just like, oh, this is it. This is it. Here we go. Because then the energy started to pick up. And then before it was like this. And then it started to go, oh, there we go. And there was several times where how it came up was very, very uncomfortable. So right before and an eternal union, because there's so many different levels of internal union, was that it was so uncomfortable for my system. Like it didn't want to do it because of multiple different reasons. So it was like so how should I say this? My masculine system was so afraid of doing something that wasn't aligned that it was better off just to seal it and not do it. So when it came time to like actually do that and like come in and commit and then the union take place, it was simply like I had to check in with guidance and like allow my system to come in, and then it was this really uncomfortable, but once it opened it was just like, oh, it was where the love was, quite simply, and then everything opened up and everything slotted back into place. But the lead up to it, it was very, very intense, very kind of like should I, shouldn't I kind of energy. And then external, um, a lot of the same actually, because you have to. That's why I feel like internal is so important before external because it's such a mirror too. So like in the external, it's like you listen, you follow, and then if it's not needed, then you just kind of surrender. And there were so many times where that was the case. There are so many roadblocks. It was really kind of amazing to watch it. But then it kind of came up, and I remember my system was kind of dumbfounded a little bit to watch it come in that way. And I had to sit with it, and then I was just like, uh, there was a little bit of shock in the system, and then it kind of opened up, and I was just like, "Oh, there it is." And then once I participated in that kind of love that was pouring out, that's when everything kind of clicked on. So, Empress Queen of Fire, E Sophia. Oh, lost the chat. Thank you for sharing that. I am coming into new awareness on what's happening. And yes, sometimes I even see his eyes sometimes smell like coffee. Usually his aura to me. Oh, that's beautiful. Smithereens. Hi, Connor. After watching this morning's recording, I'm curious about what you meant when you described your feelings for your counterpart as intimate feelings. Can you elaborate? Intimate feelings, romance, sexual, intimacy, creation energy, basically. Um, that's what I describe in that, like the affection, a lot of those, like intimacy, uh, love, intimacy feelings. Yeah. Journey to unity. It seems like there is a period between physical union and when the DM understands the journey and feels the love for the DF and accepts it. What is happening during this phase? And it seems there is a period between physical union and when the DM understands the journey and feels the love the DF for the DF and accepts it. What is happening during this phase? What is happening in the in between phase? um okay, so there's a lot of purification that's happening on top of that because you have sediment on top of your heart. And so this is a lot. So this is part of the whole thing why I started the whole masculine initiation, because there's like step by step on how that kind of takes place. So like rewiring the shutdown, that was really important. So like the masculine energy, it's a self-protective mechanism. So, and my body is really fine tuned with that. And I know that. But when I felt my energy shut down a specific moment, like completely closed off, doors closed forever. What was interesting is that, so I trust my body. And when that comes in, I'm just like, perfect, that's not aligned. But this was the first time I actually saw that energy. And from divine, from my soul essence, it was showing me in the energetics of the system where it had to be rewired. Okay, so you rewire the shutdown so it's not, you're rewiring your self-protective mechanisms. Then you go through it, then it's another phase of, you know, you're so tempered. It's such a long journey, I feel like, to letting go and non-attachment, that when it comes in to actually commit and devote and to the love between two, that is a huge thing that kind of like shifts. And that's a huge kind of phase because on one extreme you've tempered to the nth degree, and now you have to temper to the other without attachment, so you allow everything to enter. Now when that happens, because that's a whole thing, because you're going to have to face a lot of these internal breaks and these internal blockages to kind of come up and out, and then to allow the love to come out. When the heart finally, like the heart activates and opens, but you can't control that, right? Because when your heart opens, it's not like, oh, Connor's going to make his heart open. It's like, no, I have no control over that. When my heart opens, okay, now we continue with that, and we 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 surrender to your heart, like the masculine essence surrenders to its own heart as it opens. And when the love pours out, there's not like me giving it to someone. It just pours out, and it just goes where it's needed. So that's where there's no attachment, there's no control. It just pours out. It's like it just flows out. There's no control over where it goes. It's literally part of your expression because the love is just going everywhere. So, and then from that, you just continue. Um, that's a lot of, like, there's so much that happens within that phase. But And there's a lot that happens that has to happen for the DF as well, like the feminine in this part of it too. Otherwise, it won't come in. It won't be able to land. Actually, it won't have the space to land. Awaken and ascend. Anything that comes to you for the feminines that are still feeling hurt from the way the DMs behave towards them. Um, yes. So this energy has been coming in a lot, and I feel like it's the feminine rage, and I really, really celebrate it. And with the specific hurts, I feel like it is correct if you feel the sacred rage towards the masculine essence. But if it's directed towards a particular person, then it's kind of like it's showing you particular things that need to be come up and looked at why they were allowed to happen to begin with. So there's going to be little things that like show up in the field where you can look at those soft points that were like really hurtful and be like, okay, how do you heal those? What are those little points within your system that are asking to be healed? And then as far as the whole masculine like collective, like it's okay, like just to feel that. Don't temper it down. Like you can rage and do that. Just make sure your energy is tempered. Like don't get out of balance when doing it because then your whole energy gets wobbly. Really doesn't matter why you're doing it, just make sure you're balanced. And that expression is needed. And like the true masculine essence can hold it. Like it can feel that fire and hold it because it's just like, yeah, like that's a true expression that's needed. And then it's also kind of like almost activates the heart. It can in certain situations. That's what I've seen as well. But another way to look at it, when you said their DM's behavior towards them, there was something that came in with that, and I'm trying to find it again because there is an energetic code. Oh man, come on. um, so there is an essence that like especially between the projections on either side, there are certain things that come up that have to happen the way they do, and it's seeing why they had to that actually releases you from it. So I can tell you from experience that the first thing that happened within my system during the fall, when I saw how my energetics were operating within the union and towards the feminine, like I was crushed and I was so apologetic. Now, every single time I tried to apologize in the physical, in the energetics, I did it again and again and again. But like in the physical, like the energy wouldn't land. And it really was confusing because all I wanted was what was aligned. So it took a long time for my energy to kind of catch up, but it reached a point where I could see everything. And I actually wasn't the same person that like actually did those things. And I'm just like, okay. And then I could see it all, and then also why it was needed every single instance. Every single action was needed, every little bit. And then, um, after all of this energy, it came up that and I had to have a lot of help with this. One of the things that one of the phrases basically was like, "I apologize if an apology is needed in any space, any time for any action, I offer it freely." But that was a way in which the energy came up, but it wasn't like I don't know how to describe it, but like every action was needed to get to this point. And that was the thing that was very interesting to watch, especially some of the things that were just like, man, why did I act that way? And then I looked back on it and just like that was so needed to get here. Every single thing, hers and mine. Infinite blessings. We all answered the call to be here. Cheers. S. Thompson. I recently initiated block no contact. No hate, no malice. Yep. It was needed. Yes. We couldn't carry on in the current path. Yes. I'm feeling guilt and like abandoning or replacing him. Suggestions and clearing this. You're doing the right thing. If this is coming up, this is really, really common. And also just to continue, because this is actually a gift. So you doing that is kind of like providing the space for one, your own energy to drop into place, but also it's a way of you're actually shoring up your own internal boundaries. So there's something within the connection that a lot of times this is what happens. Like I even witnessed it with my own energy. There's an energy that kind of runs through the system that honestly I feel like is from divine. So yes, it activates certain parts of my system that weren't healed yet, but it's this energy of poking, and it pokes the feminine in these parts, these these very delicate parts that like normally wouldn't get seen. So then it's going to be like that really soft part that gets brought up to the surface. Okay, what's asked from this? And you kind of instilling that boundary point is so important because you're taking care of one, your own energy. Two, it's like masculine energy is running in that way to provide you that gift of seeing it. And then when you actually do, I can tell you from experience, the release that happens in the masculine system is amazing, because then it's just like, oh, that was running through my system. That was utterly exhaustion. Now, accountability still needs to happen from the masculine energy. That's still very, very true. Like that has to happen. But to have it not run through your system is an absolute it's such a relief when that kind of takes place, that boundary point. So like this is, and on that's funny. In the energetics, how I've seen it a couple of times is that when you put up those boundary points, the masculine gets lost in the dark, and it's kind of like it's finding its way, right? But on the walls is written, at least how it appeared to me in my meditation, is on those walls. It's like the codes on how to get out of the valley, on where you continue. So this is like such a beautiful expression. So I give you a lot of love and a lot of credit to following through, because it's not always easy. It's certainly not, especially when you feel all that love and the potential, but it needs to get purified. And this is one of the ways it happens. Crowny, what can the DF do when the DM violates her boundaries? Does she need to embody more of her essence into her self boundaries? Yes. I would definitely agree to that, because it's kind of like it's a dance. And if a boundary, but you got to also purify your own boundaries, right? To make sure that they're guided from soul and that they're pure. Um, Otherwise, that's like an expression of resistance. So there's more to that with that. But as if the energy is continuously crossing that boundary point, then that's going to be the masculine expression showing you where you need to shore up and do the things that you hope you don't have to. Um, and then once you do it, then it's a purification of the whole thing. So, Empress Queen of Fire. Oh, you just commented about why do you even exist, and so happy to hear your comments about the spiciness, because it just pops up. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Empress Queen. Erica, overlounds versus bliss. I love Danielle's description of it recently as an ice cream headache. Yeah, in the heart. It feels good, but it hurts at the same time. I agree. I love that. I remember when she explained that, that was a really kind of, it made me chuckle. And then one of her expressions in her videos that I absolutely love was when she said, I think it's in the same video, it is, you love the masculine enough that he can go through the fall and do it on his own. I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's the energy. So, lost the chat again. We're a little bit behind. Journey to Unity. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing. My honor. Journey to Unity. Love to you. S. Thompson. Also, thank you again. And to all the people asking and sharing. I'm learning so many things from the questions. Love to you, S. Thompson. Empress Queen of Fire. Infinite blessings. You speak truth. I have vague memories of that. Beautiful. Thank you, Connor, for providing this. My absolute honor. And thank you to everyone here. And Love to you, infinite blessings. SK, same to you. Um, Bojana? I hope I said your name right. Please let me know if I didn't, and I will make sure I get it right. But when did the masculine initiation start? Was there a point in linear time? Yes. How? And I've only found two people who have talked about it since, but I haven't really looked. But I can tell you, I think so. It would definitely happened around 2020. And oh, there it was. September of 2020 is how I heard it. It was the first time I heard it. So this is way before um this journey with, I mean, I call it the love between two. This was way before any of that. It was simply like I felt it call to the masculine initiation. And how it appeared is that there was a call that went out and I heard it. And what the words were was basically, you have to stand. The time is now. And so that was when it started. And then the energy kind of was like this, it happened very kind of soft and sweet because 2020 and 2021, yeah, there was some shifts in the energetics, but it was kind of more of the same. And then it really, really popped off in 2022. And I could see that in my external and my internal, in my own life and in other people's lives. But that's when I think that a huge part of it has happened. But I also am aware that, this masculine collective is so big. I'm currently aware that like there are men who have gone through what I am currently going through already. So it's a big collective and we're all kind of going through it. And the more energy that goes through it, the easier and the lighter the energy gets, and the more the reality changes. Same for both collectives. Empress Queen of Fire, how beautiful, love your description of the heart opening and the love that just flows off. Beautiful. Thank you. Love to you. Cece, do we have any control or is it divinely guided? Um, I would say it's divinely guided, honestly. Do you have control? Yeah. I mean, depends on which level you're talking about because this is all created from the soul essence anyways. So, but does Connor have any control over this? Well, yeah, Connor can decide whether he wants to um play with it or just be dragged along. And whether or not I do that is kind of like how the energy gets expressed. But also it's kind of a catch 22 too, because like let's say I don't want to play with it. Like, let's say the energy comes in to open up, or this is a huge heart expansion, but the thing that comes up first is this really dense pocket of energy. And I, Connor, don't want to deal with it for whatever reason. I would rather sit on the couch and not deal with it. Okay. Now that expression is my control of it. Okay. Fuck that. I'm not going to deal with it. That expression is also exactly what's needed to unlock it. That's the level you're dealing with here. It's kind of like, do you have control? Yes or no, but mostly no, because it's just like there's so much energy in all of this. It's just the more you dance and the more you kind of just listen to your own heart and soul and like listen to the love and let it guide you. It really is kind of like, okay. But yeah, you can have internal standards. I'm not saying that. I'm like, that's really, really important. And that's honestly guided from this. But yeah, control, the more I go through it, the more it's kind of like not really a thing. It's kind of funny. But E Sophia, were you on tears like avalanche when your heart was opened? I suddenly on tears for things I already healed when my DM's heart opened. His energy kept hugging me, saying sorry afterwards. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, it depends what the energy is there before the heart open. It depends what's blocking the energy, right? What's keeping the heart from opening? What's the blockage? What's the if you have a vein and like a blockage that keeps the blood from pumping through, like let's say it's a huge blockage, then like releasing that could completely fragment the system and then it's just completely tears as a way to purge more of this and regulate the system and get it back to balance. And it could be joyful tears. It's like how how tempered and how good, like how does your system run with that pure energy, right? If it's something that is like so searched for and it hasn't been present in your reality for so long, then it's going to be such an emotional thing because like you haven't tasted it in so long, so it's just like, oh my goodness, like, and it's just this complete fragmentation of everything because it's seeing all the things that are within your system that is like kept you away from it in the one way or the other. But let's say you're in that system more. It's more of a you're more tempered, it's more like familiar. You play your heart opening is still within that. Then your system still can be emotional. It's still a whole bunch of energy it's running, but it's your true essence. So if you have more conduit pieces between your physical essence and your soul essence, and more of that energy is running, then the energetic charge of complete breakdown and complete fragmentation isn't as much, because your actual physical representation is becoming more merged with your soul. Um, Marley, does the DM feel no when the DF falls in love with her internal masculine and finally sees both internal masculine as incarnated as internal masculine as incarnate are equal? Is there a shift? Wow. Um, yeah, I wasn't currently aware of that, but I definitely think that you hit something because that is a huge shift. Because I think once that happens, then it's a way for the actual external masculine to have a place in physical reality. Um, that's amazing. So, short answer, does he know? Well, I didn't. So I think you just touched something, but doesn't mean that all of them don't know. I just think that it's part of what activates and draws the masculine energy to walk down this road. So, duh, 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 duh. Sorry, chat is like blowing all over the place. The scrolling thing. Journey to unity. What are your views, experiences on plant medicine? Is it necessary to open consciousness or some level or enhance spiritual gifts? So, as far as plant medicine, I would say that there's how I've experienced it walking in this world, on these kind of circles, is that there's really two paths. There's two camps that are the loudest, basically. One camp says, like, if you do plant medicine, it's a way of spiritual bypassing. And the other camp says, well, like, plant medicine is the only way to get through to and working with the plants. Here's my viewpoint on it. There's so many different avenues, and really we're just walking home. Really, that's the only viewpoint, is you're just walking home. And that's the internal energy, that's where your heart and soul essence are. So anything that comes up in your field within that journey, if it's guided and you let it happen, then I feel like that's a gift. That's energy to come up within that specific space. So it could not show up. I just don't think, one, I don't think it's a necessity for everything. It's not a requirement. Let me put it that way. But same way that nothing's a requirement. The same way I look at it, like there's not one modality that goes all. Like for me, so Kundalini yoga came up within my field. Doesn't mean that Kundalini yoga is the only way to go through this. It doesn't mean yoga is the only way to go through this. It could be, um, you know, there's so many different modalities out there. There's so many different things. It's what comes into your specific field that is necessary to go through that. And that's just the energetic pathways. So what about plant medicines? It could be one that pops up, and then it's a complete harmonization for where you're at that time. But it's I would always recommend that it's guided. Don't seek it out, let it come find you. On my journey, it definitely happened. There was more than one time that plant medicine came in on different paths to come up to meet me along the way. And all of it was guided. I didn't seek for it at all. And it just popped up. And it was from people that were really pure in expression. So the people that held it were, I think that's really important too. Like the people who are administering it, like they have to be clean. And that's how it came. So yeah. Jolette, thank you for talking about the poking energy in the masculine. Yeah. And saying everything was necessary. And the masculine is pushing the feminine to form inner boundaries. Helps so much. My honor. Yeah. And I love your name, Joletta. So thank you. Awaken and ascend. Just for funsies, what does the masculine what does the masculine love about the feminine? Everything. I mean, it's like asking the feminine, what does the feminine love about the true essence of the masculine? Just like if I was going to seek out one, then I would inherently like not seek out another and like not like another. But it's like in the pure energy, it's kind of like a dull answer, right? Because it's just like it's the entire essence. Like that's the love for the entire system, the true representation of the entirety of who you are. That's the level of love that we're dealing with. Now, if you talk about like some little shallower aspects of that, hmm, I can only speak for myself because then it's going to be case by case, right? Infinite blessings. I am honored and divine reverence to all. Oh man, I love your words. Yes, that is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that. Bojana. Name is pronounced Boyana. 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 Okay. Thank you for that. Did I get it right? Thank you. Crowning. At what point on your journey did you realize you could not be sexually intimate with another feminine? Ooh, Crowning. Great question. That is good. Um, this is important. Oh man, thank you for hitting that. Oh man, okay, let me save the chat. So, okay, this is going to be a lot of energy. um, so simply put, it was what point? I don't know. Like to put it on a linear scale is kind of like hard for me, but it's I would say it really was really prevalent around November. Is that right? November, December of 2024. That's when it was most like that's when it physically came into my stream that it was very prevalent. So, how this happened was that this involved Florida as well. This has so much to do with the masculine sexual energy as well. There was so much energy that was retrieved and like given to me. There's actually, I think, yeah, this is the second confirmation that it's happened. So I think the next series, or even the series I might start, is a series called The Masculine Sexual Energy, because there's a lot within that that's not really talked about. So one of the things is that the masculine actual sexual energy, the container in which it's filled in, was at one level destroyed. So when I looked at it within my energetic stream, it was kind of mush. It was kind of like broken rubble, but it's where the energy would be stored and like filled up. So seeing it and then actually working with the energetics, there was an implant as well that was in the energetics near the pituitary and pineal and near the prostate that manually turned on the energy. So it was always running. Even if you were celibate, it was always running. And it felt like it was frying some part of the system. So then seeing it and feeling it, there was more with this. So this is a long answer, and I'm going to get to the point with with your question, Crowning, because this is a huge portal that's kind of opening. So one of the energies that was really interesting is that when I was in Florida, some of the waters came to me as feminine essences, and they were actually And I have not the first time I felt it because the feminine essences actually expressed themselves almost antagonistic, like not sure of my energy whenever I'd walk up. And I don't go anywhere where I'm not called. So if I was going to these waters, I'm just like, look, if I'm not supposed to be here, I don't want to be anywhere that I'm not aligned. But the call was still there. It was something that was opening up. There was an imprisoning, at least how it showed to me. There was an imprisoning of feminine essence to be siphoned from. So her creation energy was now siphoning from, but the actual physical caged essence that she was like encaged in, the actual physical bars were formed from masculine sexual energy. And the way they actually showed to me is just like, well, every time there's not a sacred container or like the energy runs in a certain way, like the masculine sexual energy that shoots out, like that's what somebody takes it. And then it forms the bars. And that's part of these feminine places that was part of some of the confusion because they could feel the bars and feel the essence. And then if they felt my essence within the bars, they're just like, you did this. Like, what's the problem? I don't understand. Like you did this to me. Now the masculine sexual energy, like once I came in contact with that and became understood of it, it was just like, whoa, that is something that I own. I take accountability for. I can now see and I retrieve my essence back. I take all my essence back that has been used by by anyone. I take it all back because it's mine. So, and then I was giving back any essence that was imprisoned by me with the aid of my energy back to the waters. And this was a huge part of it because my sexual energy came back in and it was a way of tempering it. So the waters actually helped with that. Okay, so now we're further along this way. What was interesting to watch is that when this came in, it was very interesting because my energy now held a potency within the sexual energy that's still continuing, but it held a potency that I've never felt before, at least in this lifetime. And I think in a couple others, definitely in a couple others. So it was a stream that I was just like, there's something coming in that I haven't felt before. And this is a lot of energy. Here's the thing, because it's kind of like it's a it's a pursuer, it's like a delivery, right? The man gives the seed to the woman and ejaculation. Like you can look at all of this. Like it's so in the physical, it tells you how the energy works. The fun thing is that there was only one container that could hold it, or at least how it felt to me, right? Because otherwise, like I had reached a point where it's just like this container, like if I didn't feel, let me say this, there was two women that came in and like I had no attachment and it was just like presented itself. And when I felt it, it was interesting because their container couldn't hold my essence. And so my essence didn't run. I was just like, "Oh, okay." No attachment, no malice, no anything. And that was very interesting to watch. So the more deeply embodied and the more retrieval of the masculine sexual energy, because it's fragmented, then you can do it. That's at least how I've seen it, right? But if it's like more embodied and more of it is retrieved and you're creating in the new energy, then you need the container to be able to hold it. And that will show you whether or not that container can hold it. And the container is the woman, right? Because you're delivering. So thank you for that, Crowny. But yeah, that's some of the downloads that got in. Joletta, you're welcome. My honor. Journey to Unity. Thanks so much, Connor. Oh yeah. Boyana. Good. Good. That makes me happy. E Sophia, talking about bypassing my coworker is a DM who already is in physical union, living separately, is depending on plant medicine to maintain balance, his inner bliss. I guess each TF has their unique path. I would definitely say so. It's a whole journey, right? To go through the whole thing. I mean, and there are going to be parts of it that like show up that going into that is necessary to um, transmute some of those energies. But the whole thing is to always listen and follow and to surrender to love and your true essence, and to continue on that path wherever it leads. Wherever it leads. Crowny, my honor. Thank you for asking that question. It was absolutely, you hit the nail on the head, and then my heart just opened. So, like, you can only talk about what's like a two-way street. So I give you so much love, and like that's amazing. Thank you for that. So SK, just curious, do you and your counterpart have an age gap? Yeah. Credit to you. Not a lot of people can see that deep into my energy. So I give you a lot of credit for that. Well done. It's important to keep it protected. And I'm aware of that. So like anything that's pure doesn't need protection, but I can share on my stream. But anytime it starts to touch the shared space, then I start to get really, I check in, and I'm just like, is that right to share or not? Because it's not just mine, right? So then it's kind of like I have to get, an A-OK from divine and from, her as well. So like this is where it's kind of like if it reaches that shared space, then it's just like, okay, I don't know if I can say this or not. So when you touched on that, it's just like, yeah, well done. But it's also that's how it works. But I I'm an open book. So well, I shouldn't say that. I'm an open book as long as everything comes in that is aligned to share. So yeah. Is anybody from Bali or Indonesia in here? Okay. Sadly, no. It's not sadly. It's just what it's meant. I'm from Indo. E Sophia, I thought you were in Salt Lake City, aren't you? But you're from Indonesia? All right, let me read your question. It felt so good once my DM claimed me. No chasing, no running energy. But the day after I claimed him, three masculines at work fought against each other. So weird, the energy and in me repelled them. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing to watch. And I will say this, so on the claiming energy, I've actually been guided not to. That's the funny thing, because it's actually a more surrendered into the love. Not saying that what you're doing is wrong. No, I'm not saying that, and I wanna make that clear. Um, so there was an aspect where it came up when it came into my energy to commit to the love, it wasn't a commitment to her. It wasn't a claiming of her. It was very, very interesting to watch the energy because it had to surrender and commit fully to the love that was coming in from divine between. But it was also like a complete surrendered to what is divine and what is already there. So there was no need for my energy to claim. And that was very interesting to watch. So it was kind of like it was a surrendered commitment to love and how it comes in. All righty. How is everybody doing? How's the other side of the world? How's 5-6? Can you tell us what it's going to be like tomorrow? All right. We will check in here. Smithersons. Great things are good in the Northeast. Yeah, that's beautiful. Crowny, is the DM aware when they contaminate the shared space? Ooh. Yeah. Yes. Um, is it aware? Yeah, because the only way through it is to acknowledge it, and then once you acknowledge it, then it's the accountability of it, and then it can actually process through you. I think the hard part, especially with that, is one seeing it, and then a lot of defensive mechanisms can come up to prevent it from running, continuing, and then to continue the walk basically through all this energy. And one of the things that was really prevalent is that I looked at it and just like, dang it, I made a mistake. Or like, but it was also something that came in so prominent that it was something you had to work through basically. And then you had to acknowledge it. One of the things that was amazing that I got to a point after through the accountability, through retrieving all that, owning it, um, that it was necessary. That's the thing, is that the contamination into the shared space had to happen the way it did. So at first that was a little confusing, and then the more I continued, it actually that action provided the fruit for my masculine energy to realize where it was infected. So it was amazing to see it. Boyana. That's so interesting because I was guided that it was specifically him on the divine ways. Yeah. Yeah, it's come in a couple times. It's not that kind of claiming, it's committing to the love and self. Yeah, there we go. Which in both divine energies, I didn't claim him, but his energy as one. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Then we're speaking the same. Right to be. I will be just subscribing as I didn't find many men on this path. You are more than welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being and playing in this sandbox of pure love. So, um, Empress Queen of Fire, I consider as submerged into this love, into his love. Ooh, that feels really good. I like that. Joletta, well, I was tired from processing dense energies, but I'm feeling better after this fine live. Yeah. So a lot of pure energy. There's a lot of love in this space. So um it's quite amazing to play with it. So and temper it because we're also playing with dynamics between masculine and feminine. So there's more going on here than I'm currently aware of, than Connor's aware of. Excuse me. Empress Queen of Fire. I've learned in dreams my passed on ancestors' drama trauma created changes in their DNA and so affected my DNA eventually. My spiritual DNA. So too as my DM, and I healed each other with our DNA too. Is there a question? In their DNA, and so affected my DNA eventually, my spiritual DNA. So too as my DM. And I healed each other with our DNA too. That's amazing. I can feel the energy of it. Um, can you rephrase it? Because I'm getting tripped up. There's some energy I'm not understanding within the words. And infinite blessings. Can you feel the cosmic womb energy and the birthing of the DM? It's funny you say that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I can definitely feel that coming into being. Um, and it's actually through the earth. That's how I felt it, and it's rising through all those rocks. So I've definitely felt that more than once, and it's present. I also feel like it's such a the reason I talk about lightning so much is because it's the union between two too, because it's like the lightning feels so masculine to me, and when it strikes into being, it's like it actually creates it into physical form. Smithereens. Hi, Connor. Have you any third parties you've been connected to? Wait. Hi, Connor. Have any third parties you've been connected to been able to feel your counterpart's energy on you in some way? Third parties. What do you mean by third parties? I've had friends definitely feel it. Absolutely. But those are like soul family. So I don't really consider them as third parties. But I guess in some way they are third parties. But I've definitely had some very deep, clear sight friends been able to see it. Yeah. And some like I was in a really amazing ceremony with a woman as well, and we were all in this space together, and she was able to see it. Didn't wasn't on this kind of path at all. Like she didn't see any of like she wasn't really she doesn't talk this language. Let me put it that way. But we were just sitting around the campfire after we closed ceremony, and then she is just like, "Yeah, I see this," and I was completely dumbfounded because she got like the hair color right and everything. I'm just like, "Whoa!" So that was really kind of fun. Awaken and ascend. Really interesting in the divine masculine sexual energy series. So you talked about. I feel it would be so healing for the feminine who has dealt with a ton of distorted masculine and sexual trauma. I agree. It's healing for both systems because it's one, the masculine energy is understanding it, but the feminine is kind of feeling. At least how I've seen it. I won't speak for the feminine has kind of felt the persecution for from the masculine energies, but the majority of the masculine energy doesn't really understand it or is aware of that. So it's kind of like both sides lose. So yeah, and it's really important to rebuild the pure energetic template of the masculine system because I feel like it was actually destroyed, but we don't rebuild, we don't retrieve what the old system, we're building a new one. That's how it feels in the energetics, at least. Eva, oh wow, my entire crown lit up with you speaking on this topic. I love it. So, Crowny, thank you for holding the space for Mini DF. My honor. Thank you for being here. Empress Queen of Fire. Will our DNA evolve more so? I would definitely say so. Um, There's so much within that. You're not a slave to your DNA, but at the same time, your DNA holds codes because it's the building blocks of you, right? But you can turn it on and turn it off and release. There's way more within the body that is like you're not beholden to it, but it's a part of you. So I've actually seen it. Yeah, there's a lot of this that's coming in, and there's so much within it. I think that it holds so many codes that are like starting to come online as well. I feel like that holds so much, but it's going to come on with your own system. So, Crowny, what gifts have you been blessed with from the sacred journey? A lot. My own essence. My whole life has changed. So many different aspects have come up to see me and be with me. A lot of my own abilities have come back on. I mean, the amount of gifts that we're given is amazing on this journey. It really, really is. Um, One of the ones that was really amazing to feel, witness, and be a part of was some of the places and spaces that showed up and were really present to be with me and loved seeing me. I had to temper my energy to be able to accept that. That was actually a real struggle to receive that. And that happened early on. Actually, there was one place that was really part of my path, and it was in Portugal. And when I went to this place, when I was walking up, it felt like a party and I could actually see them. So this was I was in a different energy. Like the amount of energy that was being run through me was so intense at that time. But when I was walking up, it was literally like there was so many people and I could see them and they had traveled so far. And some of them had traveled, I know, from across the universe. And so they had showed up for me. And I didn't know how to take that at that moment. And it was like a huge party. And I had to, like, my heart had to open to be able to receive that and be like, no, we came for you to see this part of you. Like, you made it. That was the words that kept coming in. It's just like, you made it, Connor. You did it. You did it. So, and that was just the start. Jeez. Empress Queen of Fire. Our spiritual DNA, yes. You just commented about the lightning being strong masculine, so love the thunder and lightning storms. Yeah, they just showed up 2 days ago. And that was so crazy. And then, what's crazy is that the first live I did, so we open up the live, and it's been stormy all morning and cloudy, and then the sun just peered through, and it was sunny the entire time of the live. The moment the live ended, like, probably give it, like, 30 minutes, instant hailstorm and a thunderstorm right overhead. Perfect. Now we open this live, and it was, like, the sunset. I was watching the sunset go down and almost clear skies, like, there was some clouds in it, but it was like a complete temperance of the energy. I'm just like, "Holy cow, are we moving tons?" But, yeah, it was so nice to hear the lightning and feel the lightning beings close again. So that was I was so happy with that. Infinite blessings. Thank you. I agree. The lightning speaks as masculine, beautiful to experience. All elements, all essences. I love it. Empress Queen of Fire. Wow, they showed up for you. How cool. Yeah, it was very, very nice. E Sophia, Empress Queen. Oh, in my experience, my DM and I share everything energetically, yeah, including soul DNA related to our ancestors. I got downloaded of new DNA codes each time and after I healed the ode. Wow. That's amazing. Uh, CC. We have a huge egg. Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's gonna hit trigger parts that like are if you follow love, it's gonna continuously ask you to kind of like go through it and open up. And that's the beauty of it. Like it's just like these are the things that have to go through. Victoria, the concept of being fully committed to love resonates more to me than the love between two. Oh, okay. I say it. Well, the concept of the commitment, fully committed to the love, resonates more to me than the love between two. I say it as someone who is married to a soulmate and is in the TWF journey at the same time. That I love because you hold a charge with that. And I really, really honor that. Yeah. I think that's a huge gift right there because the concept of being fully committed to the love, yeah, is really, well, fully committed to love, right? And I actually put the love in there. You already said the words fully committed to love because it's going to guide you along this path wherever it's supposed to go because it's love and love has no rules. It flows and you flow with it. And at the end, we're all love. So awaken and ascend. What do you feel the masculine role will be in the union and also the helping humanity move towards forward? What do you feel the masculine will be? Whew. I don't know. That's a good question. I think there's a lot of energy coming in, but it's also like seeing the full essence kind of click into the physical reality is kind of like it's very interesting to see because it's wondering what that takes the form of and how this continues. Um, hmm. There's more to like go. I don't have much information on that. The first thing that comes to me is just the grounding rod. So the grounding rod between the union between two is so something that I've seen so prevalent. Um, yeah, that's something that is amazing to watch because that's the union between masculine and feminine and external is actually the grounding rod for the pure energy. And I think that's really, really important. Helping humanity move forward, that's part of it. Is that that's how the pure energy gets grounded into the physical. That's one of them, and that's what's been shown again and again and again to me. Right to be. I too was struggling with the and I've had to accept love as love. Yeah. Liana, does the DM have any regrets about how he shows up sexually with the DF? Well, so regrets is gonna be like breadcrumbs along the way of where your focus needs to go to actually go through that energy and embody more deeply into yourself. So there's going to be aspects within that one you have to account for and then go through. So and the time when it first comes up, it can be very very potent if it's like if it's an energetic charge that hasn't been if you're not fully embodied but now you are and you look back like of course you can just wish that your yourself as you were now were back then but it doesn't work like that. So on one level, yeah, it could be definitely regrets, but on a level another level, like regret really doesn't take place because how can I regret something that led me to here? To allow me to actually account for it and embody deeper into myself and initiate deeper into myself by accounting for the steps that were missteps along the way that now I know. Um, Queen, Empress, Queen of Fire, E Sophia, that is amazing and so understandable. I feel like a completely different person than I was 12 months ago. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to believe, but I think what day is it? It's May, right? So April, March, February. 4 months ago, I was still in Montana. That feels like 2 years ago to me. Journey to Unity. I just had a deja vu feeling of the moment when you talked about the sun shining. Yeah, I love that feeling. I l- how do you say that? As beta? Hello, just managed to tune in. Are you able to address false twin flames? Ooh, is there such a thing? Hmm. Well, on every step of the way, it's going to be an initiation. So, like, I don't know. The phrase I don't really like the actual, but yes. And a short answer, yes. But it's also kind of like there's stuff that can come in. It is, it's simply being allowed to surrender deeper and deeper into love to allow it to continue. So if something comes up repeatedly and it's from divine, then you kind of accept it and move. But if it's a let's say it's a mischievous kind of energy where it came in and it's not aligned, then the more you continue, the more it kind of it can't hold that charge and be within your energy. I hope that helps. As Thompson, I have two young adult sons. Is there any kind of benefit with myself going on this journey that helps them in any way? Yeah. Yeah, because as you go, your energy changes. So you become more embodied, which then is an expression of the divine feminine. And like that just emanates off of you. So then the masculine being in that presence then can hold it, right? It's more familiar. You're building more like more connection points within the stream, so it's easier to click into place and more easy to hold it. Such an expression of the masculine energy is like when a feminine really really shines in her pure power. Like she like the masculine energy can ask for her to dim down. Like please don't be so bright. And I feel like if you are doing that now, like they are building the reference point by a byproduct of just being in the same environment of you. It's a beautiful, absolutely. There's so much to it, so much more than I don't even know. Empress, Queen of Fire. God showed me this journey is like we are each as a leaf on a brook stream to roaring rapids, down falls, then back to calm. Yeah, go with the flow. I agree with that. Yeah, I love that vision. Thank you for that. Journey to unity. Does the third energy that forms between the two influence the actions or energetics of each in some way? So, are you talking about the third? What third energy? Are you talking about the love between two, like the love that's formed between two, or the shared space? Can you clarify on what the third energy is? I've been seeing an overwhelming amount of synchronicity with the number. No way. Holy cow. So let me get your name right. It's Kersiti. I'm gonna mispronounce that. If you can tell me how to pronounce it correctly, I would love to pronounce it correctly. So that's amazing. So yes, 1144 has shown up to me repeatedly for probably the last month, and it's been crazy. So it's been coming again and again and again and again. So I was I've been talking about this, and so it's kind of fun. Um, you are the first person outside of my friends that has said that. And so, yeah, I can 100% confirm because that has been so prevalent. I have yet to find the specifics of it, like what the whole thing that's trying to be shared. But when it comes in, it's been repeatedly. Like I'm just like 1144 again. Okay. So, um, yeah, 1144, about a month. Yep. 1010. Yeah, 1010 is another one. Journey to unity. So yes, the shared space. So let me reread your question. Does the third energy, so the shared space, forms between the two influence the actions of energetics of each in some way? I would say so because it's a charge within the shared space that builds. And then when it kind of pushes on, at least how I've seen it, like the shared space can like activate and there's a whole bunch of love that flows in. And then it can be, if your heart isn't open to receive it or vice versa, then it can kind of push on that, and then it's going to be kind of like your ability to open up to it, and then the energy can run basically. So it does influence both. I've seen it and felt it. E Sophia, the third energy is like a bubble of light around both, formed when two enclosed physical distance. It blasts out throughout the universe, giving blessings and love to surrounding. Love it. Yeah, I love that. Victoria, I just want to like come back to your comment because it really opened up so much with me. So I give you a lot of love for that. Being fully committed to the love. I really, really, really love that. So thank you for that. It's been part of my journey too. My commitment to the love has been, yeah, this whole thing. So thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that. All right. How about 7 more minutes? And then I will get ready to close. Unfortunately, we can all jump out of the sandbox or stay in it if it's still the present within your reality. Then go for it. Why do you have to end just because I did? Right? So, so Durango's nice and black now, so it's nice and quiet out. I love this. So, thanks everybody for being here. Really is an absolute honor. I've kind of sound like I'm a broken record, but I really can't respect it enough and acknowledge it enough. E Sophia, that is what my guides asked me to choose, my high level soulmate or keep walking on my 20th journey for the sacred union and the energy that will keep rising the earth frequency. I choose the second. Yeah. I just, the thing that I've always done is just listen and follow. That's all I've ever done, is just kind of continue to listen and follow. So it has shown up repeatedly. So listen and follow love. That's the only thing I'm following. So crowning, my honor, my honor, my honor. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful being that you are. Empress Queen of Fire. Durango's beautiful. Yeah, it's special out here. The land here is so conscious. That's what pulled me here. So that's a story for another time. But I don't know where you are, Empress Queen of Fire. You might have said in the previous live. I'm not sure. But if you're close and the land calls to you, I think my email's somewhere in there. And just let me know, because this land is very, very conscious and it will pull you in. So you might be due for a visit. Um, Journey to unity. Thanks so much. My honor. Thank you. Yes. Everyone here is so amazing. This is absolutely beautiful. Infinite blessings. Thank you, Connor, for sharing this space for all to connect. What an honor to be here, live, and experience this energy. Infinite love, infinite blessings to all. Infinite love to you. Infinite blessings to all, everyone here. And this is playing in the true energy. This is like the sacred circuit. And this is how I have always experienced it. So this is a beauty for everything. And this is amazing to see and feel. Um, Empress Queen O Fire. Oh, Middle Tennessee. You got it. Tennessee has come up more than once. Boyana, thank you so much for today. 4 hours is a lot to give in one day with these energies. My honor. If it comes in, like, listen and follow, right? That's all you're supposed to do. That's all I do. So, awaken and ascend. Thanks, Connor, for an amazing live. It helped me clear those crazy 5-5 energies. It's 5-5 here, and I can tell you for sure a new day is on the horizon. Yeah. Well, and today has been so beautiful. So thank you everyone for being here. And 5-5 has been I think it will go down, at least so far in my energy, as like such a beautiful expression of a turning point, of a switch on day and breaking into reality. So this is amazing. So as Beta, I was in union for oh, my screen is a little dusty. Does that say, what does that say? For, I'm going to assume it says for 1 year because I think it's a T. For 1 year, then we fell apart within 2 months. He's marrying someone else. Being very confused in union. Is union not the ultimate goal? Well, it's the start of something. So like it's not an end destination. Like this is a continuous journey, right? It doesn't like it's not a finish line. I would definitely say that. So it's not a finish line. And there's really no goal. The goal is just to continue to follow love. However, to give you some part with that, which I feel like is very prevalent, I don't think it's strictly masculine, but masculine energy specifically. One of the ways, especially if a heart opens so amazingly, that sometimes the actual physical representation can't deal with all that energy. So it needs to shut down. And so, how does it shut down? How does it freeze? Because the old ways that used to do it won't work anymore. One of the ways that will actually help facilitate this is another relationship. So, another, because it's still love, right? You can't have a relationship without love, even if it's toxic. There's going to be some thread within it, always. So, it's going to help seal that up. So that's one thing that has happened. 5 years, got it. Yes. Wow, 5 years on 5-5, 25. So 2025. Yeah, you're hitting the keynotes today. Um, awakened, ascend. That's a cool comment. A new day is on the horizon. Yeah, yeah, it is. I love it. I absolutely love it. All righty. Well, with that, I give everybody a lot of love. And you know what's funny? I think I'm going to go get some ice cream. That's what I'm going to do. Ice cream before bed. It's a good way to treat my inner child, especially with playing all with this pure energy. So Connor gets a treat. But I give everybody a lot of love and a lot of joy. And it's absolutely a pleasure and an honor to be with people across the world and feel that and give a lot of love to a lot of places that are on the other side of Big Mama. And I give a lot of love to Mama and all the people here, feminine, masculine, anybody that watches this, everybody here. Thank you. This has been an absolute joy, true privilege, and an absolute heartfelt joy and pure love. So, with that, we might do another one. I think this is funny. You guys might get a kick out of this. One of the other ones that I was guided. I was just like, okay, does one need to happen in July? And it wasn't 6/6, it was 69. So it might be July 9th. We'll see if that comes in. But if it does, you'll get notifications. So with that, I love everyone here. I give everyone a huge, big hug and a lot of love and a lot of joy. Shine bright. Love you guys. Good night for me. Take care.